Welcome to Planning Joy Garden. It is a warm 50-degree day in the middle of December. And so I'm going to take this opportunity while the weather is nice to check on what's going on under my mini greenhouse and look under some of these frost covers. But first, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone for returning to the channel and for your subscriptions and your comments. I really enjoy reading your comments, and I thank you for taking the time to respond and give me ideas and um, just saying that you're out there. So let's get started and see what's growing on or what's surviving in my garden. Well, it has actually been over a week of temperatures down at 16 degree Fahrenheit, which is about -9 Celsius. So I just want to check to see what's going on. I do not expect for anything to grow. I am really checking to see that my root balls, or the root matter of my plants, are surviving through the intense chill, then the warming, and then the chill, and then the warming again. The big concern is that the soil will dry out when it's raining or snowing. Open beds will get plenty of moisture, but under frost cover and greenhouses, your plants can't get any moisture. So you have to come out. So my plan is to come out at least once a month, once in December, once in January, once in February, to make sure that my soil isn't drying out. So let's get this open. And because the temperature is nice today, it's safe. I don't have to worry about exposing my plants to frost. And I can see from the cover that I'm maintaining humidity. So let's just check on the soil. So I can see some things are quite moist and some things are drying out. Okay, so we got good moisture here. Okay, so the strawberries, great moisture. Um, my Swiss chard here, great moisture. And again, my goal is not to grow anything in the winter, it's just to keep my root balls alive. So actually the arugula is growing. This is very much alive, and arugula is pretty hardy. And surprisingly, you can see there, my red oak leaf lettuce is actually growing. It survived the fluctuation. Rosemary is still very much alive. Let's check on the soil. The rosemary soil is a little drier than I would like, but it tolerates that. So I'm not going to water today. The soil here is moist. I can feel moisture in less than a half an inch. My chives, they're perennials. They can tolerate drying out. It's actually actively growing. These are new chives. Now, since I'm here, I am going to harvest some thyme. I really have enjoyed adding fresh thyme to my meals. There's moisture at about a half inch. And everything was mulched, even though the mulch is breaking down. There is moisture. So I'm going to harvest a little thyme. So if you hang in there with me, we'll talk about it after I've gotten it. And this truly is the best thing about having a garden, that you can always just come out and harvest. And it's exciting to me that I'm able to harvest thyme at this time of the year. And it is a perennial. This is no worse than like pruning back your roses during dormancy. It will grow back. But because I have so much It is a delight to have fresh thyme uh, during the winter months. And this isn't typical. Normally I would even come out in December, but because I'm checking, I might as well just grab a little. And here's my thyme harvest in the middle of December, which is a wonderful harvest. I'm excited to have this. I could actually harvest some more rosemary. I don't need it right now. However, it is a great idea to harvest when it's not negative degrees outside and when you get these nice little warm breaks. So if you have a warm break in your winter, just come out, see if anything needs to be watered or needs special attention. And as I take a look in this bed, I can see that the sage is still alive. I'm just worried about the roots, but I have a nice mulch layer. As you can see, the Swiss chard just did not make it, but there are some live parts in the middle. Swiss chard is biennial, but in my zone, I don't expect to get any survival. But we will just take off these bad parts and put them in the composter. Okay, my oregano, I still have some green parts. This oregano is what you would consider freeze dried. And so the plant is very much alive because of the green. I will not touch it. It does not have cover. I'm not going to stress it in any way. It's just going to sit. And again, here, I'm just going to cut off these bad parts because I don't want anything to fester over here. And I think I'm doing this. This is not necessary, but I miss my garden. And I'm actually going to show a clip of when I was out in the garden during those 16-degree days when I just kind of checked to see what was surviving. So I'm going to show you that clip real quickly. Good morning. I thought I would just step out because I'm really missing my garden. And I'm in zone 5B6A and we are under snow and have really low temperatures at 16 degrees. But I have to come out every morning to get the doggy out, so I'm just taking a quick look around to see what's actually going on in the garden. I will do my daily chore of just spinning my composter every time I come out for the dog. Boy, I'm really missing my garden here. So I hope that you're enjoying your garden wherever you may be. Now we're back, so let's take a look at my mustards. Now, I don't expect this to have made it, but I can see that there's still moisture in the soil. Mustards, I only expect them to hold up until about 16 degrees. And as you can see, it looks terrible. Well, there is still some life up the middle, but everything on the outside has freezer burn. So I will remove some of this and put it in the compost. But I'm shocked to see that there's baby growth in there. So let me do a little cleanup here. Okay, so let me get these dead leaves off that I can compost. Oh, you know what? I think I might just let them compost in place. And this is what it looks like. Just a little cleanup. I do have leaves in the bed. I don't expect for anything to make it. This is basically an experiment, and I do have some baby leaves growing. I don't know why, because I had over a week at 16 degrees Fahrenheit, and as I mentioned, it's like -9 degrees Celsius. So I will be feeding this to the compost pile. So we're going to add it So we're going to add this to the composter. And it's pretty full. I've just been shoving some things in here. And this is basically what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that, but things are breaking down. Um, Even when it's cold outside, it's still warm in the composter. Okay, I have been adding coffee grounds pretty much every week. I do have leaves and yard clippings in here, so it's a pile that I'm able to keep warm. Now let's take a look at some of my perennials. So my hydrangea, I'm not going to do anything with this. It froze the leaves in place, and so we'll just leave it alone. The thing is, you want to make sure your buds can survive the cold, but we're not going to touch it. Rose bush, this would be the perfect time if you have not trimmed up your rose bushes to trim them up, because we know that it's in dormancy. We had, as I mentioned, 16 degrees Fahrenheit for over a week. And some of my perennial plants, so my autumn joy, I leave the little seed heads for the birds. And also my yarrow is still very much green, which is not typical. They basically froze. We had warm temperature for December, then we had extremely cold temperatures for over a week, and now we have warm temperatures again. So they froze during the middle of active growing. So those have been left. But this is what my garden looks like. Nothing's really growing. Everything has been put to bed or has been put into dormancy. And so we're just making sure that we protect root balls and the roots of our perennials. Now, I did not check on my kale. This is kale. And oh, it's not looking good. Oh, and it smells like cabbage. So this plant smells awful, which means that it is dead. Um, well, I thought it was dead, but look at this one. The tips are still growing. This one looks freezer burn. This was not effective covering. So what I'm going to do is trim this and leave the stalks. There is a faint chance that they'll survive the winter and regrow in the spring. Very faint chance, but it's worth a try. And now that I'm done, this is what it looks like. I do not expect for these to make it, but perhaps the roots are alive. Who knows? In my zone, it is very difficult. And the stalk is quite firm, so we'll see. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me in the garden. I'm in zone 5. Not much can survive in my zone over the winter. But I do thank you for joining me. Have an amazing day. The grass withers, the flowers fade, but the word of our God will stand forever. Isaiah 40, verse 8.